flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Adoption of the agenda. Couple things. We're going to take a number 14 and move it to 6.5. Yep. And other business. We'll vote on what we discussed in executive session. Okay. Other than that, I think we're good. You good? Yep. Public comment.
I have nothing.
Holy moly. Town Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I have one item tonight. I would like to ask the Select Board to consider a recommendation that is coming from myself and from the manager of the Recycling Center and Transfer Station, Chuck Perot. This is for a vacancy that we have at that facility, and we have interviewed probably 6 candidates at this point, and we are recommending that Brian Lesperance of Brunswick be hired as the next full-time employee at the facility to serve as an attendant in the recycling center and transfer station areas.
Is that how he pronounces it? Because it's like
I may have
Les
that.
Parents.
I think maybe I was closer than you were, but
I didn't even try.
I'm not going to either.
Anyway, I move we hire him because they're really shorthanded over there.
I will second it.
All in favor?
thank you. You can move on to other parts of the
That's it?
agenda.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
That's it.
Consent agenda.
Well, I will move the consent agenda for the approval of the minutes, the municipal valuation return, Cumberland County tax assessment, and authorization of the warrants, and I want to hold the local road assistance program out to talk about it, but I move those other things at least, or the other 4 things.
I will second the 4.
No discussion. All in favor?
Right. So I have a question about the local road assistance program, because it, you talk about having Christie being able to sign the certification in the future. Tell me about it.
Well, this is an annual event that
Yeah,
happens every
yeah,
year, and I
yeah.
think, it would be the town administrator, whoever that might be in the future, but it would.
Oh, we're keeping you on for it, yeah, don't worry.
But it would remove the authorization having to come to the Select Board. We can certainly not do that, and you could leave it at the municipal officer's level. which is-
I'd like to add something to that as well. So the state has gone all electronic, and they send things electronically. And they're always surprised that we don't, this year, when they started that, they're surprised that we didn't return it right away, because most municipalities have a designee.
So you had to wait 2 weeks for us to...
Because it does allow a designee. What we are certifying is that the funds that we've received, and it was $43,000 last year, went towards a capital project. And going forward, it makes it even less restrictive, because now the local road assistance program funds can be used for maintenance as well. And we clearly spend much more money on maintenance and capital than the amount of money we get, although we are getting a raise next year.
All right.
If you will, allow a raise
Well-
of the $75,000. But we're still happy to copy it and put it in your box so that you're aware of the funds we're getting and what
Yeah,
we spent it
If
on.
you at least do that, that'll be good.
Absolutely.
So I'll approve this year's, I move that we approve this year's Department of Transportation Local Road Assistance Program, and that we, in the future, authorize Christie to deal with it.
I'll second it.
No discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Did you approve the rest of the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did
Yep.
before? Thank you.
Yes, we did. Consider accepting loan of artwork.
Yes, we have John right here tonight, and he has a proposal for the board to consider. And
Yeah.
on the screen, we are showing the work of art that he's going to talk about loaning.
Yes, I'm John Wright, Harpswell Neck. What you see here was exhibited at the Curtis Library recently. So it's a rather large installation, and my collaborator, Valerie Upham, and I are looking for a space to install it for a year or so. So we're proposing that the town would take this opportunity and hang it in conference room number 2 for the period of a year.
So it'd be in place of where that the whiteboard used to be?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would take the care to hang it and remove it when the time comes and patch walls if necessary. I propose that I'd hang it with 2 points.
For at least a year, you say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I move that we accept the loan of that for at least a year, and maybe longer if you come back and want to leave it here for longer.
We'll see. All right. Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
And I'm glad you're hanging it. I always like hanging it. Yeah, really. All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. All right. Comprehensive plan submittal to state.
Good evening. My name is Al Legros, and I'm coming before you tonight as Chair of the Comprehensive Plan Task Force to encourage you to forward the comprehensive plan for state approval as soon as possible. We have had a meeting, actually a public hearing on August 16th, where we determined and discussed a number of different points that were brought up during that meeting, and determined that the plan that we are forwarding for you for submittal meets what the town, to the best of our ability, believes and considers to be the best statement of where we're going to go in the next 10 or 15 years, along with the recommendations to accomplish those tasks. So I'm here to encourage you to support this plan, to forward it to the state for approval, and in addition to the plan itself, we're going to be adding a letter that talks about growth areas in the town. We're asking that we would ask the state for a, shall we call it, an easement, if you will, on the growth area requirements, because the town has unique conditions and requirements.
Exemption, you want, exemption.
Exemption, that's the word I'm talking about. And it has unique requirements. It has unique aspects that we think that the state will approve, so that we don't have to specify specific growth areas in the town, as opposed to having a more general area to approve distributed growth throughout the town. And so in addition to the plan itself, the letter will be adjusted or accompanying this particular plan, and we encourage you to go forward with it as soon as possible.
Well, it's, okay, so the signers of this have to certify that it complies with the Growth Management Act and the main comprehensive plan review criteria rule. So I'm just want to be assured that, I think Kevin's the one who's probably going to sign this, chief elected official, that he isn't going to get in hot water, that it is, in fact, certifiable.
Well, in my opinion, it is certifiable. There are specific aspects of the town. For example, we don't have municipal water, septic. We have a very limited soil layer on top of granite. And we believe that this is a unique town that needs to be looked at in light of where we are geographically, where we are in terms of the realities of what we have here in the town, and not be kind of lumped together, if you will, with just a general town in, say, the middle of the state or something like that.
Right.
I believe that we think that we can meet and fulfill all the requirements that are necessary to get an exemption to this particular responsibility.
Well, this has been a long slog, I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
it sure has.
Boy, I've attended enough meetings and public hearings, and, I move that we forward this on to the state.
I second it.
And as far as those growth area goes, we were advised early on by our consultants.
I was just going to say, our consultants helped us with that, if I remember
Right, yeah.
correctly.
I mean,
That was
and they put
almost
together
Right.
a good letter, strong justification, if you will, for exception. And I believe that this is going to go forward and we'll have something hopefully by the end of the year.
That was the letter that the consultants wrote for us that was included, it looked like, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
So, any more discussion? I don't see anything. All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Great job, Al.
I'm sorry, one last question. Yeah, do we have any idea when we might hear back?
I've looked at other towns that have submitted comprehensive plans and so on, and it's usually a several-week time frame. But,
Do you think we'll know before November?
well, I'm sure we're going to know before the end of the year. I'm not sure we're going to be
Okay,
before November.
all right,
But I think
I was just
by the end of the
curious.
year, for sure. That's my guess.
all right.
Margaret McIntyre, Town Planner. The state says it takes about 5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So ideally, we would have submitted it sooner. They suggest that we submit it and get it reviewed for compliance before the town votes on it, but it just depends on the timing of the plan, and the timing's going to work out that the vote is going to happen about when the plan review gets completed, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
they'll
I
have
was
that
just
at the
curious.
time, yeah.
Thanks.
All right. We got-
Margaret, could you just speak to, is the final plan posted or will be posted? Can you just talk about that?
Yes, so we haven't made any changes to the plan since the first week of August. We had a red line version on our website for a month or so that showed so it was really important to the task force to document all the changes that were made because there was so much concern about some of the contents of the comp plan. So we had the red line version on our website. Judy Colby George from Viewshed took the red line version and took the red lines out and made the final edits that had been already approved. That process took a couple weeks. So as of today, the red line version is off the website and the complete final, Al and I have both reviewed it, version is on the website. We'll work on getting some printed, and hopefully by Monday we'll have some color printed copies here at the libraries. The elected officials will have a copy, and there'll be some around to review.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Margaret. Almost could squeeze in the wharf hearing, but I won't. It's close enough, 6:15. We'll open a public hearing regarding Norm Stevens Junkyard, map 46, lot 31, Pinkham Point Road.
Tim Clark Codes. We had the public hearing this afternoon at 3, left there about 3:45, no one else came to the meeting. Norm and I had a nice walk through the junkyard. Not much else has changed there. He's getting rid of some of the cars in front of the fence. He has a couple going out tomorrow that are outside of the fence. And he's already moved some.
Good, that was the
I know.
complaint last time, so yeah, good.
That's why I approached them a week ago.
All right. I see no one here speaking to it. So at this point, I'll close the public hearing and make the motion, David.
Yeah, I move we issue this junkyard permit to Norm Stevens for another year.
I second it.
No discussion, all in favor? Don't go anywhere.
No, okay.
All right, at this point, we have a wharf hearing, Patrick Moore and Wharf application, 76 Center Walk Road, map 6, lot 61.
76 Cunner Rock Road, ramp and float, no eelgrass. Nobody was at the one neighbor did come to the site visit, excuse me. Had no objections to any of the placements or anything about the wharf.
Nope.
On the ramp and float. There is a little seawall or erosion control happening with this. and it's very evident that it needs it. Other than that, it was a good site visit.
Yeah. Clean
Pretty-
application.
Yes.
Pretty straightforward. I wanted to mention that we have 2 ramps up for bid at the end of this, but I noticed that they're both the wrong length, so. I'm all right with it. I'm good with it.
Yeah,
Good with it, all right.
Yeah.
I move to approve the application as the harbor master indicates. There's no hazard to navigation, no injury to the rights of others in relation to fishing, fouling, or navigating.
Thank you.
I'll second.
yeah, no
No
need to.
discussion? All in favor? All right. Central Emergency Services Building, architect's contract and financing.
I'd like to introduce Andy Highland. He's the architect with Port City Architecture. We've been working with that company and with Andy for probably a year and a half. And the voters have approved moving forward with the Central Emergency Services Building on Mountain Road. So one of the first steps is to get a contract signed with the architectural firm for the additional work that they're going to do. I'd like Andy to talk about the approach that he's suggested, which is in this contract, that the town would go out for an RFQ, essentially, I think, request for qualifications for a construction manager at risk. That's part of the process and the approach that he is recommending the town take, and that's incorporated into this agreement with Port City Architecture. Sure.
Hi, good evening. Andy Highland, Port City Architecture, as Christie said. So we've talked with the committee about it for quite a while, and it's the approach. There's a couple of different approaches to the municipality building a new building. The traditional approach was design, bid, build, that we would design it kind of in a vacuum, send it out to contractors and get proposals back. The problems that have occurred with that over the years, that's kind of waning in most of the municipal areas and probably throughout construction. Problems are that, the subcontractors that aren't qualified, sometimes we'll give them a price. You run into just problems throughout. Also, we don't have anybody kind of looking at the drawings, while we're making changes. So coming in, if it comes in over budget, it's a scramble at the last minute. So what construction management at risk, and it's been used, we've used it probably in the last 15, 20 municipal projects that we've done. I think most all of them. We're doing it in Agunquit right now, Augusta. We've done it in Yarmouth and Falmouth and pretty much everywhere. So you'll put an RFP out soon, and we'll assist the town doing that. We have some good language that'll help you kind of ask the right questions. And there's a lot of good construction managers out there. So what they do, it's a 2-part bid, essentially. One's pre-construction, so they'll come in early. And while we're designing it, while the town's sitting at the table, we'll do some initial pricing with them. As we keep developing the design, they'll kind of keep helping us price it to make sure that we stay on budget and we stay within the $6 million that's been allocated. And they'll also help us, and we have a pretty extensive soft costs, because we don't want to get the building done for $6 million and have no furniture. So we add in all of the soft costs necessary, and the security cameras and communications equipment, everything that you need. And then at that point, it comes into the second phase, and which would be where it actually gets bid by qualified subcontractors. So most all of the project will have 3 bid numbers. The construction manager will pre-qualify them to make sure all 3 plumbing contractors are capable of doing this size job, that they have good reputations, aren't going to go out of business midway. And then, as the bids kind of come in at that point, the CM will issue the town, it's called a gross maximum profit or gross maximum contract. So they guarantee that they will build the building that's documented on our plans for that price. And they'll have a bit of contingency in it for themselves, and the town will have some contingency as well. But it's been very effective in making sure that the project stays on budget. Changes do happen. I mean, in the economy, different prices of different materials can go up and down, and they're very on top of that, and will have some subcontractor involvement. So that's as we go through, would be the pre-construction piece. When you issue this, you said it's a RFQ, which is a request for qualifications. It's an RFQ slash P, and that they'll also give you in an envelope what their pre-construction cost would be and what percentage that they would charge to manage it. So it would be all the subcontractor costs plus a percentage that they will offer to manage it. So those will be available to help evaluate the CMs as well. So I've had a lot of really qualified CMs that we've worked with before that have interest in the project. So I'm excited to get going and on a successful project for the town. If there's questions, I'm happy to take them.
Yeah.
Could you?
I've been through it.
Yeah.
These two might have something.
I wondered if you just wanted to comment on how you arrived at the amount that you're charging the town. You use the state method.
Yeah, and it works very well. So state, I always call them Bureau of General Services. I think they've changed their name up there, but they help manage school contracts and construction for towns. So they issue to help towns when they're hiring architects to do a municipal project or a school project. They issue what they think are the fair rates. So it's a sliding percentage. The bigger the dollar value of the project, the lower the percentage number gets, and the less complicated of the project, the lower. So in that price, are we at
7.7% of the hard cost.
Yeah. So we'll do a fixed because we know that the project's going to come in. I think I allocate it typically, and it's been our experience that it's 82% hard construction costs and about 12% as soft costs. So we just base our number on just the hard costs, and it's worked out very well and very equitably for past projects as well.
So you'll be coming to us with some drawings, I guess, at some point, concrete plans to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we have a schematic plan. So, we've kind of went through it, gave you numbers on what our experience has been to get to the bid number. This one, and there's more nuances, especially with this project. We've got a septic field. We're not tying to a municipal sewer. We have other, there's some fill in that area, et cetera.
A lot.
Yeah, so we'll go through. So part of as we start through there, we're going to develop the design a little more from the schematic enough that we can take it to the planning board and take it to any state agencies that are necessary for approval. So we'll manage in that fee also, getting, and there are the actual time of doing the permitting is supplemental services, which we've noted in there. But we will get the permits, make sure everything works out, move on to the final construction documents that are really, that's what your contract is with this construction manager. If there's a disagreement, we turn back to the construction documents that they agreed upon and say, no, that's right here, that's in it. And we also have a written set of specifications on what type of materials that we want to use and to get the town a good quality project at the best price.
Seems like the less risky way to go, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I move that we contract with Port City, including the construction manager proposal.
And could I just say, adding, we just had a few tweaks this morning.
So
I
sent them to you.
Yeah, and so I just
I
want to
saw
make
those,
sure, You're on board with that?
Yeah, I saw that. That was fun. That made perfect
Yeah.
sense.
And they weren't major, they were
Right.
minor.
Mainly dates,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
update
mostly
it
date change,
to
like you
tonight's
said, yeah.
date.
Yeah, right.
And so,
I'll second it. I think that had to be done still.
Any discussion out there on this? I don't see any. All in favor? Well, great.
Thank you.
thank you so much. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And with the
Thank-
committee still, so we'll still have town involvement and, as we go through the process, so it'll be a lot of work for you, Christie.
No, Mike, too.
Mike, okay, Mike, so one of you guys, okay. All right,
Shared.
great. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
And Matt, you must have really loved the financing part.
That went overboard even for
all
me.
the
I
little
came in and
numbers
talked to Terry about it this afternoon, actually.
So I'm not looking for a formal decision this evening, just wanted to, the board previously held a workshop with UFASI, the Unibank Fiscal Advisory Services, and reviewed its report. There were a couple of outstanding matters to review. For example, if we issued our own bonds for this project, $6 million, would our continuing disclosures be radically altered in a way that it would really require an additional person to keep up with the reporting? And we found out that it's not a radical change to issue our own bonds or go through Maine Municipal Bond Bank. And David Eisenthal did issue you a letter. You may recall that the difference in cost in this report, between issuing our own general obligation bonds or going through the bond bank was 0.09% difference. So it really comes down to the practicality of the work and proceeding. And so I'm just looking for consensus that you're definitely we are leaning towards going to the Maine Municipal Bond Bank in the spring. And between now and spring, we would issue bands, bond anticipation note financing for both the boat launch project and the Central Emergency Services Building. So just looking for consensus, or if you had further questions, a formal, if you have any questions tonight, I'll certainly answer those. And then I'll be back before you with a request for proposals for the bond anticipation note financing. Since both projects are getting going, your next item is the boat launch.
Yeah, let's do that.
You want to nod?
Please,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Notice award for Mitchellfield Boat Launch and engineering change order.
So I might invite Mark Ironman, who is more or less our project manager, to maybe give a little background, and then we have Dan Bannon here
I would say
as
more
well.
than less.
Yeah.
And Dan is our engineer with GEI. So Mark, would you like to give an overview of where we're at in the process?
Sure. Good evening. The town went out to bid, I guess it's about 6 weeks ago now, for construction of the boat launch at Mitchell Field.
Do you want to ask him to?
Can't hear me?
Mark, can you turn up your volume on your end, or
Well,
they're also raising it on our end?
I'm about as
you
high
probably
as
can't.
I can go here.
just speak closer to your mic, and I think we can turn it up on this end.
We have our technical person checking it out.
Mark, for what it's worth, I can hear you just fine.
You can hear me?
Oh,
Yep,
now
there you
we're
are.
There we
I
go.
can hear you.
That's better.
Hallelujah.
Yay.
Does he want to continue with summary?
Is that better?
Sure.
Still not as loud.
Make it work.
Hello?
There
Yes.
you are.
Better.
Yeah, use that voice.
Yeah, that voice.
Okay. I guess it's about 6 weeks ago, the town solicited bids for the construction of the long-discussed boat launch at Mitchell Field. Contractors were asked to bid in 3 elements: a base bid that included all of the work except for the trailer parking area up at the old, what's sometimes called truck turnaround, uphill from the bandstand. There were two alternates. Alternate one was to rebuild and enlarge that trailer parking area. And alternate two was to pave and stripe the rebuilt and expanded trailer parking area. Town received 3 bids. The requirement of the bidding was that the contract would be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, taking the sum of the base bid and any alternates that the town chose to go forward with. The low bidder was Wyman and Simpson of Richmond. You have their numbers. The base bid was around $1.3 million. The in the packet, I think you have Dan's spreadsheet that then adds in about $100,000 for alternate one and another $100,000 for alternate two. The project has additional costs other than the contract with Wyman and Simpson. We have made a commitment to pay a wetlands mitigation in lieu of fee. That's around $67,000. I'm doing this without turning and looking at the numbers so you can hear me. There's also a cost for the oversight services, and you will shortly consider a contract amendment from GEI to provide those services. And that leaves, if the town selected the base bid only, I would call it a healthy contingency with the current amount of funding available. If it selected the base bid and alternate one, there would be about $150,000 in contingency, about 10% of the construction costs. If the town chose base bid and alternate one and alternate two, then the bulk of the available funding gets used up and the amount of money available for a contingency becomes limited. So what the process is, since part of this project is being funded with SHIP grants from the Maine Department of Transportation, is at this point, the state, Maine Department of Transportation, has approved the town going forth and contracting with Wyman and Simpson. There is a process where if you decide you want to move forward tonight, the town formally notifies Wyman and Simpson. Then they submit to the town the various paperwork in terms of insurance and bonds and contract copies, etc. Once the town has all of that, then it can formally authorize the contract. So there are really two questions before you. One, do you want to move forward with Wyman and Simpson at this point? And two, what do you want to include in the contract in terms of the two alternates?
So the bottom of the spreadsheet, it talks about the two alternates. They're both alternate one. I think the
Yeah, that's
second one
just a
should be,
typo. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that,
Yes.
to save confusion. if there's money left
This
over.
is probably the best
if-
one to look at, the
Sure.
summary.
If, in fact, there is money left over from contingency, enough to do the paving, maybe we could just move forward with that later on. But I would think we would want to stick with just alternate one at this point.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Dan might want to speak to that question about the idea of doing alternate one and holding off on alternate two and the possibility of, if you will, negotiating with the contractor when they're going to be doing other paving if there is additional money available to do it. Dan, do you want to?
Sure.
Talk
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
happy to add a little bit. So all of these, any combination of the base bid and the alternates is within the budget, but the available budget right now. But as Mark noted, the level of contingency that would remain, the more alternates that are awarded, the less that would be. This is a large project, and most construction projects do face some change along the way. And so going into the project with some contingency may be a wise decision, so that if there are changes that add to the cost later, the project doesn't go over budget. An option that the town could consider would be to award part of the project now, say base bid plus alternate one, get through the majority of the construction. The paving that would be covered by alternate two would be one of the last things that would happen at the end of the project. So by that time, you would have a good sense of if there have been changes during construction that increased the cost or what you have available for funding, and could consider adding the paving back in if there's still funding at that time. I don't think that we could necessarily ask the contractor to hold their original bid price if we don't award it at the time of contract award. If we look to add that into their contract, say 6 months from now, but we could request a proposal. We could negotiate with them. Hopefully they would hold their original price, but there could be some risk there that they would come back with a different price.
And
But the price could be lower as well, couldn't it? Highly unlikely, I understand,
Exactly, yeah.
but it doesn't guarantee that it necessarily goes up either.
Right. Under the construction phase and engineering services, it suggests that we use a town staff member for the day-to-day. Would that be Mark?
Day-to-day, John Miskell has said he would be willing to
Oh, okay.
kind of take that on. I don't know if his wife is thrilled about it.
What, getting him out of the house?
So,
You too good with alternate one?
Yep.
We gotta get this thing done, so at least that gets it going.
Yeah.
yeah, I move that we contract with Wyman and Simpson, and we stick with alternate one, and that we authorize Christie to take care of the necessary paperwork.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Spike Heibel, Harpswell Neck. I don't know if this is exactly pertinent, but I'm in favor of paving and striping, because I think it organizes the boat launch, the trailer activity best. If it's gravel or it's a crushed stone, there's other problems with that, and it may lead to some less organization of people with their trailers. But if we pave it, I would hope we could use some kind of a permeable paving instead of letting it just be a hard surface that runs off and causes other problems that we all know about. So that's just my thoughts about the paving as part of alternate two, I guess it is. But
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's just fantastic that we're moving ahead.
Finally, yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. All right, any more discussion before we vote on it? Yep, all in favor? Just like that.
Did you have worries?
request for placement of bollards at Mitchell Field.
Mr. Chairman, you have to act on the engineers.
Then we're gonna do the
Oh.
change order.
Change
Big part of
order.
that. That's right. Sorry about that.
And I
I get
just want to
excited.
mention for the record, we did post the initial proposal from GEI, but we
Yep.
did receive a revision to that proposal dated September 18th. So I think Dan Bannon can speak to this proposal, this change order.
By the way, Dan, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. So GEI was contracted by the town, I guess going back to 2022, I believe, for services for the Mitchell Field boat launch project. That scope included design and permitting phase services, and bid services were added to that scope by a previous change order. We've now reached the end of our contracted scope, so we've submitted a change order to the town. That does include some request for compensation for additional work, additional services that were required during the final design and bid phase process. That process became a little bit more lengthy and involved than we had anticipated, so we're requesting compensation to cover that additional effort. And then we've also included an additional task that was not part of our original scope for construction phase services. And that would involve GEI assisting with administering the construction project, working with the town and the contractor to schedule site meetings, to have some degree of field oversight, review submittals, review pay requisitions, the normal construction phase engineering services. So that is the general scope of our proposal, and those services would be provided on a time and expense basis. So we have provided a budget that's intended to capture what we think would be required. If the actual services that are required vary from that, the total could end up being less, could end up being more, but it's an important service that really is required to make sure that you get a quality project built and the contractor's being managed. And so
I see you reduced the original proposal by $6,000. I appreciate that. And I move that we approve it.
I have no issue with approving the second part of it there, the construction and engineering services, but when we had the last change order on April 7th, I was I thought stern that I didn't want to see any more change orders after that, and here we are again with another $14,000, and that's, I guess, a hard pill for me to swallow, because we weren't really updated that you guys were incurring more cost, to my knowledge, until all of a sudden a couple of weeks ago. You know, this would have kind of been nice to have been kind of kept in the loop maybe a little ahead of time. And it looks like a lot of these are due to questions and stuff and comments that had to be answered, that town staff and the bidders or the contractors had and stuff. And I guess if the design phase, in my thoughts, and I mean somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if it had been done better, maybe there wouldn't have been as many questions. You know, like it's a hard pill for me to make taxpayers pay more money because stuff changed. I guess you get what I'm saying here. I'm having a hard time with the 14,000. I do appreciate you bringing it down 6, and I don't have any issue with the 97. But at some point, we got to stop being the cash cow.
Thank you.
Well, I assume this is it for adjustments from GEI. Am I correct in that?
Well, he just said that there would be more potentially during the construction and engineering phase. It could go up or it could go down. So I wouldn't say it sounds like it's the end.
Could we get a guarantee that it won't go up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan?
Raised it.
I mean, I can't really give you a guarantee.
Hesitating on that one.
Yeah, that's,
Well,
I mean,
try.
yeah.
Try your best. You know our feelings on this, and we're dealing with taxpayers' dollars here, not.
Right.
I would say that if you see that it's looking like we're approaching that cap that we've agreed to, that there would be some discussion with the town well in advance of that. So we're not made aware of it after the fact. So I think that is something we would hope to
I think that's the most
see
we could ask
happen.
for, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, there's a motion on the floor.
I'm not going to second it.
What's that?
I'm not seconding that.
Repeat your motion.
I move that we go ahead with this proposal
The
for-
September 18th
for
proposal.
the September 18th one, right, the latest one, with 14,000 and the 97,000.
All right. Just, we got to keep it moving. I'll second it.
Can I make a different motion?
Is there,
I make a motion that we approve the change order for 97,000 for the construction and phase engineering services. Only.
yeah, I don't, that's not going to fly. I'm going to second David's motion, just to
that's
keep
fine.
things moving. Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
I'm sticking to my guns.
That's fine.
I know where you're coming from.
You're allowed.
I do.
One of us has to.
Yeah. Oh, keep that up. All right. Then I think we're good here.
Are you authorizing me to sign that?
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Yes,
It was in there somewhere.
it was. It absolutely was. Yeah.
All right. We good with that?
Yep.
No. Look at the important stuff. Request for placement of the bollards at Mitchell Field.
Don Miskell, Mitchell Field Steward.
King of the bollards.
I wanted those balls.
Don Miskell, Mitchell Stewart. So we saved all the hardware from the old pier before it was demolished. And the 4 large bollards, everybody knows, are at the end of the causeway. Inside the admin building garage, since that time, were 6 cleats and 4 what they call double bit bollards, which are about 5 feet long. They're about 20 inches high. They've got 2 great big round stubs on them, and you use them to tie off the tankers. Those have sat in the garage all this time, and so now that we have an admin building contract pending, we have to empty that garage. We moved the cleats today to the generator building, and rather than hide these 4 bollards again inside or over in the field where the grass is going to grow up around them, I thought that it would be better if we placed them sort of along the waterfront. They're large enough that somebody could sit on them. I promise I won't use black paint. Nobody would want to sit on them in the summer. We'll pick a different color, probably gray, being a Navy guy, but we'll put some reflective on it. But I talked to Ron Ponziani today about making sure that, he had something that could move them. And so I presented a plan there where we would space them along the waterfront on the grass, just off the road. When I paint them, I'll also put some sort of reflective tape. I'm not touching anything. I'll put some sort of reflective tape on them so that nobody runs into them at night.
People can tie their cars on them to keep them from drifting away.
There you go.
How far back from the shoreline are they?
That question came up yesterday. Christie called me. I did some rough measurements last night on Google Maps. You can blow it up and go down
Yeah.
and get a distance. They were the ones, if you're looking at the causeway, the ones that would be on the Swimmers Beach side were upwards of 115 to 119 feet.
What was the
from what
closest one?
Probably about 109 feet.
All right, so
And
beyond the
those-
setbacks.
The closest ones would be on the Merry Meeting Shellfish side. And the placements are approximate, because I looked at that. I don't want to have one of them just sitting in front of the boat launch. So we'll probably move them a little farther down and maybe take some of that sumac down. But generally 2 on each side.
It's not the kind of thing that needs a vote, is it?
I think the consensus, I mean, we wanted to make sure that the board was fine with this
You
proposal.
got my nod.
I mean,
I
once
really
they go there.
appreciated your sketch. Was that you?
Yes.
Yes, that's nice.
You're quite the artist.
You
I
are.
think, yeah.
Well, I've had that sketch
you-
for eons. 'cause
If
I
you want
measured
to
'em.
maybe think about donating it as artwork, we could consider it later on.
Or loan it to us.
But we really did want consensus. We didn't want these put in a location and
Right.
then people saying, well, who approved that? And, who authorized that?
Anybody
So
have a problem
we
with
want it to be authorized by the board.
If they don't like them, you can put them in my yard. I like them.
We have no objection.
Don't tell my wife.
Yeah, and when we place them, I'm going to put like a plastic bag underneath each one, and then we'll get them cleaned up and, get them primed and painted.
And the Mitchell Field Committee discussed this. It was a recommendation that.
This was a quickie on my
Oh,
part
okay.
as we went through, we're under pressure now to clean the admin building garage and
Just
get
say no.
everything out. No. Did not go through the committee.
Okay.
It'd be fine.
Go for it.
Yep.
Go for
Thank you very much.
All right, set a public hearing regarding the November 4th municipal warrant.
Yes, so there are 4 municipal items on the ballot for November 4th. One of them being the comp plan, one of them being accepting gifts and grants for Trufant Somerton, one for entering into a long-term agreement to put emergency communications equipment on a tower in Cundy's Harbor, and the 4th one is for a dry hydrant easement. We are required to have public hearings because they're secret ballot items. You don't go to the school and discuss the articles, so this is the opportunity to do that. We looked at a couple different locations, but we're recommending that we hold the public hearing at Harpswell Community School, and we do so on Tuesday, October 14th, 6 p.m., I think was the time that
So that
we
gives us
came
our
up with.
time spreads and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Most people start voting if they're going to do absentee within that kind of 3 weeks before the date, and so this date worked for all involved.
And that covers all 4 of the ballot questions.
Yes,
are
right,
done then.
right. And I do think it'll be important to say, there's no changes to the comp plan.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is not a public hearing where we're talking about changes.
Yeah.
This is the plan, and you can discuss, what you like or
Pluses
don't
and
like, or what
minuses,
comments you want to make, but there's no opportunity for change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I move October 14th then. At, what'd you
second
say,
it.
6 o'clock?
No
6
discussion?
o'clock.
6 o'clock,
I
6
second.
PM.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Great, thank you.
All right. Compensation and benefit study consultant.
Yeah, so this is an item that was approved in the town's municipal budget for 2025. It's been a while since we've had a kind of a professional consultant come in and look at job descriptions, compensation levels, how we compare to other communities. So we did put out an RFP. We received one response from a company in Falmouth, Maine. This one's based out of Falmouth, Maine, KMA Human Resources Consulting. I have checked with their references. They've worked for some other communities. They initially came in high, more than we had budgeted. We've budgeted $20,000 for this project. But we did have a conversation with them, myself and the deputy town administrator, and we talked about how we, as the administrative part, could work with our staff to update job descriptions, and we could take on that piece, share those updated job descriptions with the consultant. So this won't necessarily include employees sitting down with the consultant. That was not something we could really afford to do if we want to get this comparative kind of analysis of what other towns are paying for similar types of positions. What are the benefits that other communities are providing for their employees? It's a competitive market. We want to retain good employees. We want to be able to attract new employees. So it really is time for us to take a look at this issue and to bring in somebody with some expertise who can help us do that.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking on, that saved us, if I'm ballparking it, it was like $34,000 or so. That saved us by you guys willing to take on that task, so.
Yeah.
With everything else you have going on, so thank you for that.
We'll do our best.
I think people should be aware of how much that is sometimes, and how much you guys have saved the town by willing to be able to do that yourself. So I personally have no issue. I'll let David do his thing if he wants to.
Well, no, that's completely in line with what we talked about 2 weeks ago. So, no, you go ahead and make the,
I make a motion that we accept the contract, correct? That's why you're better at doing the motion thing. I'm the second guy.
How about to approve their proposal and authorize me
Yeah,
to sign an agreement with them to proceed?
well said.
Okay.
yeah.
You move that?
I move
Okay,
it.
I'll second it.
I'll do my, all in favor?
Okay.
You got the easy part.
I know.
Never changes.
All right. We got some ramps that we could put out for bid.
Yeah, maybe Don wants to speak to that.
Don Musco, Mitchell Stewart. There were 2 ramps that have been staged at Mitchell Field for a while. One is the Potts Point ramp because there's no dock. And the other one was an older ramp that was actually in the generator building for I don't know how long. And so in the process, we had to move the Potts Point ramp out of the concrete pad because we're getting ready to do something to the pad. So we created a open area. Eric Field came over yesterday, and we also pulled the ramp out of the generator building, recommended to Christie, and she got with Paul, and now they're putting them up for bid. So if anybody wants to see the ramps, when you're looking at the generator building, standing on the perimeter road, they are to your left, a little bit farther down. They're outside, easily visible, and anybody can inspect them.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
I move that we put these 2 ramps up for bid, and when would be the closing date for the bid?
That's a good question.
That's what we were just discussing.
Maybe 4 weeks?
Sure.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
4 weeks would be good.
from today, yeah.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
Yeah.
All right, public comment? You
you
just
got-
up,
Oh.
Don, you
Hey,
just
hey,
up
hey,
there.
hey.
I want to make a public comment about this person over here. Since we're moving stuff around at Mitchell Field, can we get an update on the boat, and is there some reason we can't get rid of that
So-
boat?
So the
Yeah.
harbor
can have it.
master
Take it over to your house.
is able to summons this person, and it's got to go through a court proceeding,
Yeah.
summons, et cetera.
Is it costing us a lot of money to go through this whole process?
I think it would look good over at your house.
We really haven't spent any legal fees at this, we've received some legal advice, it's been minimal.
I actually was talking with Paul today about it. We may have found, we're going to investigate a couple of places that may be able to take it.
Wonderful.
We found out that Grimmel's took a different boat that was a little bit smaller, but it was only a few $100s. So we're going to look into that going forward. We might be able to get rid of it that way.
It's
'Cause
it's
the
that much
jig-
closer.
What's that?
It's that much closer to
Thank
date.
you very much. That much, I can relate to that.
Yeah, Paul had the summons with him today.
When they took
Yeah.
Jacob Pike, they took it out of New Meadows, they took it down to that facility in Portland. Now,
Yeah.
she's a lot bigger boat, but I'm just thinking there's got to be some way to, I mean, and
There is-
Jacob Pike was
the-
wooden too,
mean-
and this one's fiberglass, which
I
makes it
didn't
a
know
little
that.
harder.
I just want to also say that most likely the town is going to incur these costs, so we want to keep them as low as possible. So maybe Grimmel is
Yeah.
one of our least
we have to
expensive.
pump the oil and the fuel, though, don't we?
Most likely.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear as if the owner is going to take,
But if it goes to Grimmel,
responsibility.
Grimmel will take care of the fluids in it
Right,
for additional fee.
thank you. One of my favorite.
Excellent.
You, like they said, you can have it. You could.
At least we don't have to moor it. Don Misko, Oars Island. I'm going to leave here tonight, go and pick up my son, and drive back down Route 123, Mountain Road, Route 24 to my house. Just hope that the state's going to finish painting the sidelines on Route 123. Is much worse than Route 24, but I've watched some creative driving of people who, when the lights are coming at them and they're trying to look off to the side of the road, there's just no white line there.
No.
So I'm hoping before winter comes that we get those white lines painted.
Never mind that, the damn bridge. But the point is that what the state was waiting for was the drains.
They got them.
and they got them, and
Yeah.
you see they're installing them finally. And there's paving equipment back there today, again.
There-
So
they were.
maybe it'll get done.
I think
Yeah.
what they're waiting for was the waterproofing material.
Yeah, they put some sort of,
It looks like rolled roofing.
It's to protect the concrete
Yeah.
for the asphalt.
Yeah.
okay. Just, I've watched some creative driving
State
at night. I
project.
usually am
Oh, yeah.
back and forth 3 nights, 4 nights a week.
Maybe you can have
That's why I
Ponzi,
don't drive at night
have
anymore.
Ponzi mention that to DOT. Yep.
Good idea, David.
All right. That was Bubba. Other business, we have, we were in executive session and agreed on an abatement for,
I move we approve that abatement.
I second it.
no discussion. All in favor?
And we should just say that was for hardship purposes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abatement, yeah.
Thank you. Any other
I
business?
do have one other item. We had put a bid out to do some work at the entrance to Trufant Somerton,
Yes.
some
Right.
paving, and over at Devil's Back, we didn't get any responses. So we'd like the board to extend that deadline 2 weeks to see if we can get some companies to
Take the
to
bushes a
bid.
little
It's
harder.
kind of a small project, so sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard when everybody's so busy for them to
Yeah.
kind of fit that in,
I
but,
move that we extend the
Okay.
bid. I can get this one.
Second it.
okay,
All in favor?
thank you.
Is that it? Anything else? Terry, Christie?
Do you have anything?
Nope. In that case, we're adjourned.